Hi, my name is Jodi. Today, I am going to be going over booking start to finish. I am an IATAN card holder. I've been doing this for over 4 years, and just sort of lays out how you go about doing a booking from the beginning to the end. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So your first steps when you're doing a booking. Now, I do have to say that everybody does things differently. This is how I do them. The first thing I do is I have my client fill out a Google form. Never have your client fill out a Google form without having a phone call with them as well. So the first thing I do is I have them fill out a Google form. I will go over a Google form with you at the end and show you sort of how I do mine. Then I set up a time to speak to the client. So you can offer them a few times that work for you. For me, I have my times on Calendly. So I actually will send them the link, or it's part of my form to sign up for a call with me. I will never work for anyone without them filling out a form and having a conversation. If they say they don't have time to speak, I don't have time to do their quote. Okay. Because I don't like being ghosted. So I want to build that personal relationship with them. So the questions that I ask the client when I am on the phone with them, not on my form per se, but when I'm on the phone, I do a lot, and I'm going to base this around usually all-inclusive resorts or island resorts. What type of resort? Size? Are you looking for a smaller, a larger resort? Are you looking for a quiet or a party atmosphere? What do you need at the resort? Do you need water sports? Do you need swim up bars? Like, what is needed? And I won't necessarily throw that at them, but I'll see what they want as well needed at the resort. Some people, I talked to somebody yesterday, they said they need a swimmable beach. They are big beach people. So you want to sort of find that out. Are they beach people? Are they pool people? Because there are some beaches that aren't that great, but great pools at the resorts. And type of room. So what I always say to them is, if I can get you a garden view in your budget, are you opposed to that? And they might say, well, I prefer an ocean view, but I'm okay with a garden view. Or no, I definitely need an ocean view. So you want to get as much information as possible so you're not spinning your wheels later and doing double the work. If children are going, you want to confirm the ages of children at time of travel, not now, but at time of travel. So if they're vacationing next January, what are the ages at the time of travel? And I will get their passports or their driver's license, and not driver's license for kids, birth certificate for kids. But I want to know that going into my quote because you have to put in how old they are going to be. Any airlines they won't fly, any ones that they prefer. Are you opposed to flying Frontier if I can get you a better rate? Yes, I absolutely don't want Frontier. You want to ask that, especially with the budget airlines. Do they only want direct flights, or are they fine with a layover? A lot of people, like from where I am around the Philadelphia area, we have nonstops to Punta Cana, Mexico, Jamaica, Aruba, but most of the other islands, unless you go Saturday to Saturday for some, there is a layover. So they might say, I don't want Mexico. I don't want Jamaica or Punta Cana. I want, Turks and Caicos. But they want to go for 5 nights, and there is a layover with Turks and Caicos. So they might not know that there are layovers with certain islands. What time of day for the flights? Are you okay with flying out at 6 a.m.? Are you okay at flying out, flying back to be back at 7 p.m.? So you want to ask them about time of day for the flights. Big one is what island's interested in or not interested in. So I will always say, are you okay with Mexico, Punta Cana, Jamaica? Because those are the biggest for all inclusives, especially. Okay. And if you're traveling to Europe, the same thing. You want to go and say, what countries are you looking to visit? So you want to ask those questions as well. Some people say don't ask budget. I do. I asked, what is your max budget? I had somebody yesterday who put down that they wanted a $3,000 budget. I said, I can't get you a $3,000 budget for what you're looking for. I'm looking, and so what I do is I search it a little bit before I speak to them, and I say, I can get you more around the $4,000 range. And then he said, well, actually, my max budget is $4,500, not $3,000. Perfect. So now I know that I can go and give him some options. I ask, does everyone have a valid passport? Many countries need the passport valid for 6 months post-travel. You need to actually look on travel.state.gov, and it will actually, you pull up international travel, what country, and it will tell you when the passport needs to be valid for. even though some countries say valid only during time of stay, some airlines will actually give a hard time as far as that and might say they need the passport valid for post stay. So I usually try and get, I always ask if they have a valid passport. I had somebody who wanted to go to St. Lucia last year, I think it was, and I could not let them go because their passport was expiring in 3 months and it needed to be 6 months. So I moved them to Jamaica instead. For me, I always say to them, I want to have you send me a copy of your passports or names as on passports or driver's licenses if it's in the US. I actually will push for the passports. If they say to me, oh, like yesterday, I talked to a man and he said, I have her passport, I can upload it, but my passport is actually getting done now, so I don't have it. So I said, I need you to send me your name as on your passport and your date of birth. I want you to double check what you send me because if there is an error in what you typed, there may be a name change fee. If there's an error when I type it, like my error, that's my issue. But if you gave me the wrong name, and I'll give you an example, a woman years ago gave me her son's name and the middle name was Michael, but it was Michel. When she emailed me, it was Michael, right? And because it's like a spell check. So she gave me the wrong middle name. So what I actually do is if the clients don't have their passports or driver's license or if they don't have their passports, I'm sorry, what I will do is I will ask them for a copy of their driver's license a lot of times, ask them if that driver's license matches exactly the passport, the name, and I will keep off the middle name. You don't need to put the middle name on. So I will keep off the middle name and I will just put the first and the last name. You do need to know if it's a junior, a senior, any suffix, you need to know that as well. Okay. The reason I tell them that I want them to send that to me is because I can possibly put the trip on hold for them if I have those. And that would, if I am able to put it on hold, then the price wouldn't increase. So what I say is I'm going to send you, now I use a form through Travefy, but before that, I would just have them send me their passports. I would say, are you okay with sending me your passport up front? Or if not, just make a copy of it, keep it handy so you can send it to me real quick if I find something that you like. So the next steps, I'm going to give the client ideas via email. So you can also do it via Vax. There's email, sales email that you can use, and you can do a few different resorts. I would do an actual quote, or I would speak to them on the phone about it. So what I do, it depends. Usually I will give a client 3 choices and I will do an actual quote. Sometimes, like I'm working with a client, a repeat client today, and I'm going to just send him an email of different resorts in his budget and tell him to narrow down which ones he wants me to actually get him a quote on. So it depends on the client, and I read the client when I'm talking to them. And sometimes I'll say, do you want me to get you an actual quote, or do you want me to give you some ideas and then you can pick from that? And if I give them some ideas, it can be, like I said, it can be via Vax, via the sales email. It can also just be me an emailing them with a hyperlink to the hotel, okay, to the resort. If you are first starting off working with somebody, you have to build that trust by speaking with them on the phone. And I'll go over some of that later. You also can charge a fee. So for any new clients, I will charge a fee. I will charge $50 for Mexico, Caribbean, US, and cruises, and $100 for everywhere else. Yesterday, I spoke to a repeat client. I'm not charging him a fee. Okay, so charging the fee can just sort of help possibly not be ghosted, but you do not have to charge a fee. That's just how I do mine. So once the client narrows down to where they want to go, I will give an exact quote. And then they can either ask to hold it, if allowed by the supplier, book it, or ghost you. Those are the 3 things that could possibly happen. Okay. So I will get an exact quote to them. How I give my quote is I will show them the flights. A lot of people don't want to show the flights. I will show the flights in the airlines. I will show the hotel with different room options and pricing. So I might give a garden view for this price, a pool view for this price, and it gives them that option to choose which room they want as well at the resort. So hold it, book it, or ghost you. So to hold it, Not everything can be held. I'm going to talk about VAX right now, but if you go into VAX and you hit email print itinerary on what you're working on, it would say when the deposit is due. If the deposit is due tomorrow or in 3 days, you can hold it. You can hold it as long as you have the names as on the passports or the driver's licenses and dates of birth. So when you are in VAX, and again, I can't really show you this because YouTube has taken that from me, but when you are in VAX, you would go in and put all the information on the client in there. When you go down to the payment part, don't put anything in. You click the box in the bottom left for terms and conditions, I think it is, and then you will hit checkout and or book or whatever it might be, confirm. I don't know, the bottom right, you will hit. That will hold it for you. So that will lock in the pricing for either that day, the next day, or 3 days. It's usually 1 or 3 days. If it says deposit due today, you cannot hold it. Okay. So if they hold it, see how long it can be held for and make sure you add a payment prior to that time expiring. Okay. The second choice is book it. They say, yep, that looks great. Let's go ahead and book it. When I do my Europe quotes and I'm working with a vendor such as Europe Express, I will actually say to my client, I need to have you available via text while I am booking this because pricing can change at any time because they can't hold it, Europe Express. So if airfare is included. So what I will do, like I had a client about 2 years ago going to Europe. I was texting with her. Europe Express went to book it and the price of the flights went up a lot. So I said, look, I can get you instead of out of Newark, I can get you out of JFK for this price. Do you want that? She said, yes. So I was able to text her during the whole booking process. So that way I knew if she wanted to book it or not. Ghosting. We've all been ghosted, guys. Every single one of us have been ghosted. If they ghost you, this is what I do. I will contact them the day after I give them the quote. I just want to make sure that you receive the quote and see if you have any questions. If I don't hear from them again, and I do that actually no matter what, if I'm going to send somebody a quote, I will always contact them the day after just to make sure that they received it and see if they have any questions. I will then 3 days later email them again or text them. Sometimes I will text and say, I'm not sure if you saw my information because sometimes they don't see the email. If I still don't hear from them, I will send an email a week later. I will saying it seems they've changed their mind as far as booking a trip with me, but please reach out in the future if you wish to book a trip. And I wish them well. I don't harp on it any more than that. I send 3 emails or text and that's it. So what to do after a booking? After a booking, you're going to enter the client's information and booking information. I shouldn't say you have to. This is what I do into a Google spreadsheet. I did put in the chat earlier my links, and there is a Google spreadsheet in there with my links. There's also a Google spreadsheet, or there's also a Google form in there for a vacation quote request form. If somebody's in the chat now, if they can repost it. If not, I'll repost it when I'm done this. I also enter information into the commission tracking form. I do that as soon as I book, guys. Don't wait. Do it as soon as you book. If you forget to enter that commission tracking form, that is not Archer Revolution's fault for not paying you. That is your fault. You also want to make sure that your Akimbo card information is entered correctly under your, I think it's payment information or account information in the back office. If it is not entered correctly, they also will not pay you. I enter any raffles. I love to win money. I don't know about you guys, but if there are any raffles, I will enter them. Also, let your mentor know that you did a booking. I didn't put that in there, but you should always let your mentor know that you've done a booking. So here's the thing, send out a credit card authorization form. So there are 2 different ways you can do this. If you are just starting off, you're not using Travefy, something like that, you can send out a credit card authorization form once it is booked, and then you can actually go and have them sign it. So you would not send the confirmation to them until you have that credit card authorization form signed. You're holding that confirmation hostage. For me, I personally mostly hold my bookings as long as I can, and then I will do a credit card authorization form up front, get that back, and then I will go and book it for them. So I tell the clients that the credit card authorization form will have the full amount of the trip, even if they just paid, even if I just paid the deposit that day. So just say the deposit's $1,000, the trip is $10,000. My credit card authorization form will say $10,000. it will say the full amount of the trip.
Hello.
X, talking to me, Sharon, or no? Okay. Expectations. This is a big thing, guys. You're not giving your clients expectations. So they think that you are either not working on it or they think you should have it sooner to them. So tell them that within, so for me, I say 48 to 72 business hours, I will have a quote to you. So they know when to expect it. Okay. So once I receive the credit card authorization form back, I will have a quote to them within that time. If you did a booking, I also will say once this is booked, I will have a confirmation to you within 48 business hours. Give them expectations and make it your expectations, what you want to do. Always say business hours, because if you're not working Saturday and Sunday and you're giving them a quote on Friday or they booked it on Friday and you say 48 hours, I will have this to you, that means Sunday. So I always say business hours. So what to do also after a booking when sending out the confirmation, I always include optional tours. So I use Travefy, which is a paid service, and you can actually upload tours from Viator, super easy there. But if not, I would do, if you're just doing a Google Doc, put a photo of a possible tour, the pricing, and just write optional tours. When you have that included, I used to include it on quotes. I don't include it on quotes anymore. I will always do it on the confirmation, and I let my clients know that once this is booked, I will then go and include any optional tours. Once you do that, you'll see that your tours will increase. The selling of your tours will increase. So you can either add optional tours on through, if you're booking through Vax or Vacation Express or Pleasant Holidays or whatever it might be, or you can use something separate like Viator or Project Expedition or something like that. When I first started, I asked for reviews once it was booked. I needed to build up my reviews. So I would ask as soon as it was booked, I'd give them a link to either Travel Leaders, to my Google reviews, to my Google reviews. Google is huge to get, if you can get reviews there, if you are verified with Google. Now I ask them for reviews after they come back from their trip. Once you book it, is there a rewards program for the hotel or resort? I was just away this past week and I met an agent through another agency, and she has booked a ton of groups. She's booked a ton of rooms, and she never knew about any rewards programs. She asked me how I was getting free stays. And I said, because I'm entering my bookings. So always check if there's a rewards program. If you are on Team Horizon, we have it under a rewards program on Discord. We might also have it, I think, on the website too, but also Google. Sometimes I'll Google and say, ABC Hotel Loyalty Rewards travel agents. And sometimes you'll find it there as well. Okay, I know for like the Dominican Republic, if you go to mybooking.rewards.com and you enter your information there, the Dominican gives you some money. It's not much. It's like $4, $6, something like that, but it all adds up, and then free stays add up. So information to enter. I am big on Google Calendar. Also with Travefy, there are tasks. I don't use the tasks. I just like Google Calendar. I like seeing everything there for me. So I will put on my Google Calendar about 3 weeks to a month prior to payment being due to remind client. I always tell the client when I send them the confirmation that the payment is due 1 week prior to being due by the supplier. I will not send them fund jets like email print itinerary. I will always brand it as my own, so I can tell them when the payment will be due. The only difference is when I have a cruise, I will send them something from the cruise line. I will come right out and tell them that Royal Caribbean expects a payment on April 26th, but I like to receive it a week prior. So if there are any issues with payments, so it would be April 19th. If there is an issue with that, please let me know. I've never had anybody say there was an issue. Also on my calendar, remind client a few days before payment is due. I usually do it a day before, and then I also put on the calendar the date payment is due. So I have it there everywhere so I won't forget. By giving that extra week, if by some chance you forget, you have that extra week. You also, when you're in Vax, you can choose to get a reminder of the final payment to yourself. So I always have that sent as well. 2 weeks prior to the trip, I put on my calendar Reach out to the hotel resort for a complimentary amenity and a note from me. I don't put too much emphasis on this. I will try and reach out to either a sales department or a concierge. I'll ask for a complimentary amenity and ask them if they could give a note from me. If they say no, then no. If they say yes, I don't really follow through on it. I hope that they send it to my client. Um, my accountant doesn't send me a gift. My hairdresser doesn't send me a gift. So we don't have to send the amenities. It's just that little extra touch, which would be nice. 1 to 2 weeks prior to the trip, I have on my calendar to resend the confirmation to the client. I also double check the flights that the seats haven't changed and the client info is entered correctly. So what I will do is when you have your confirmation, you see a airline code, confirmation code, just say it's American. I'll go into American managed flights with that code, the client's last name. I will make sure when I say the seats haven't changed, I had my brother-in-law's seats changed on a trip to Mexico from good seats up front to right next to the bathroom. Thank God I found it and not him, because he would not have been happy. So I also see if there are flights, maybe somebody canceled and there are flights closer up in the plane. So I will check that. And I always ask my clients anyway, when I'm talking to them, do they have any known traveler number? So TSA pre-check, global entry. Do they have frequent flyer numbers? Do they have a preference of where to sit on a plane, aisle, middle, window? So I do all of that. And I also make sure their passport information is entered, make sure the known traveler number is entered, and that the frequent flyer number is entered. One day before the trip on my calendar, it's saying text client to have a good trip. One day after the trip, I send a Google form with a survey, and then there I ask for reviews, and I actually have the links to my reviews. So all they have to do is click on it and give a review. So I make it easy. They don't have to search for anything. And I send a handwritten thank you. That's how I used to do it. How I now do it is I will actually send to clients luggage tags with my JZW travel on there. So I usually send a handwritten note about 2 weeks prior to them going away with the luggage tags, thanking them for their business. Once I have booked somebody numerous times, or it's a really large booking, I've actually been sending them like Yeti type cups with JZW travel on them. Just a little gift. You don't have to do it. It's just something that I do. Also on my calendar, about 45 to 60 days after the trip, either the 15th or the last business day of the month, I will have on there, did you receive commission? So I will have, did I receive commissions for Janet Smith, Vax, or whatever it might be. So I have that, so I know to look for my commissions. So that's everything that I put on my calendar. Okay. So, all right. So I see that the links are in here. Let me just pull up a couple things that I want to show you. If I'm having issues. Yes, I'm having issues. Where did you go? Okay. So vacation quote request form. You cannot copy mine. You cannot, I mean, you can make it your own and you can do exactly as I've done, but I'm not able to share it so that you can do it yourself. Couple things with this. So I fill all this out. It's actually super easy. You go into your Google Drive, you go to Google Form. Okay, and you fill this out. You can put the question, so you can put first and last name. You can put whether it's required. You can click there. The main thing you want to do is you want to go under responses. As soon as you do this, hit the 3 buttons and put get email notifications for new responses. So responses, 3 dots, get email notifications. If you do not do that, you will not get any email notifications. I'm going to go over that. Give me a second, Tina. So then the next thing I do, this is my Travefy one. So like I said, Travefy is a paid service. I have all this information there. But what I also do in Travefy is, if I can get to it, what's your preferred seat on a plane? Do you have a frequent flyer number? Do you have a known traveler number? And guys, if you have any questions, once you do this in Travefy, you can actually make it a see if I can pull it up real quick. So if you do this here, like, do you have a frequent flyer? You do smart field, and if you've made a smart field already, which I can't go over that now, but you can put it right into your smart field. So it pulls up right under where their contact information. Okay. All right. So then, all right, let me go back over this. So it's got, what would you like us to quote? And I actually took off vacation home or villa. I don't want to do those anymore. So you don't have to do certain things. Number of travelers, adults, children, all this information there. And what I do, this is how I do my fee. I tell them about my fee. It's got a calendar. If they are doing it through Travefy, the calendar pops up. But they have to agree to this to be able to submit the form. So if you are going to do quotes, or if you are going to charge fees, have this where they have to choose it. And if they don't choose it, they can't go to the next step. So if anybody looks at my form, decides they don't want to use me because of my fee, I wouldn't know because they haven't clicked I agree to the fee. Okay. A couple other things I want to go over. Here's a copy of a quote template. If you are using, do that differently. That's not what I want. Okay. Okay, if you were using Google Doc, obviously this has been a long time since I've used it, but I cut and paste everything. So that way my client doesn't see it says FunJet or whatever it might be. Okay, so that's how I would do that on Google Doc. There was something else I wanted to show you. Here's a client log. So when I was saying that I would go and put everything in here, so what I do is I highlight. Now, people have done it green when it's paid, which makes sense because of money. I will actually do yellow. I can't show you mine because it has personal information on it for my clients. But as soon as I book somebody, I will go and put it in here. I will put the date booked, the date vacation starts, their name, email, address, phone, supplier, confirmation, destination, dates, traveling, total booking, total commissions, what I should be paid. When it should be paid. So just say I book something for they're traveling and getting back May 27th. I'm going to put maybe July 15th or July 31st. I should be receiving it, and any notes. What I do then is I color code mine. So once it's paid, it's color coded. So anything white, I know that has not been paid out yet. So it makes it really easy as you book more. It's really easy to see what you're still waiting on with Archer. Okay. Other things I have here. All right. There was something else I wanted to show you, and I don't remember what it was. Oh, I know what it was. Traveler feedback form. So I have it in Travefy. I also have here. So this is what I do. Thank you for choosing me. Here are my review links. Travel Leaders Network, how you get that is you go to Agent Universe, you go to Agent Profiler, and you have to set it up. Once you set it up, I can show you that. You're going to go to Agent Profiler here. Okay, you're going to have to make sure that you're all set up with your interests, your destinations, your supplier partners. Once you set everything up, it will say unpublished, but then I think 100% complete. So you have to reach out to Archer, which I believe is Market Archer, in Discord for Team Horizon. If you go to contact info, it's in there who you contact. Tell them that you need your agent profiler published. Okay. And then when you go to my profile and you go to my reviews, It says click to submit your review, and that's your link right up there for somebody to review you. Okay. All right, let's see. Do I break it down monthly or continue to? So I also have projected commissions. So I don't break it down monthly, but what I do monthly is I have projected commissions to know once I book something, when I should, on a different spreadsheet, when I should be receiving the commissions. So that way I know this year, the minimum I'll make this year. I know already next year what's already been booked and the minimum I'll make. And so I add anytime I book something, I add it to my projected commissions. Let me just see. I think I have it on there, but maybe I don't. Just see. Oh yeah, I do. And I'm not sure if this was your question, or not, Tina, but I also have projected commissions. So I put in my bookings, my commissions this is from bookings, not like, so in January, what I booked, and I believe Tina beat me in January, any fees or wholesale fees, and my residuals, because I'm also a builder, I have that too. But then what I do, just say I booked, let's see, we're in April, just say I just booked a $9,000 trip and I should be receiving, after Archer takes their money, just say I should be receiving $750, and I should be receiving that in December of this year. I will put it right there in December that I should be receiving $750, and then it gives me an idea of what I should be making each year. But that's the way my brain works. So which traveler feedback form is more important? I would do Google 100% over travel leaders. Definitely Google. That's why I put it in order. I put Google first, travel leaders second. Third, I put Google because, Facebook, because I'm having trouble getting reviews. I have 43 reviews, but new people are having trouble getting it. And I talked to Facebook and they said, give them your Facebook business page and just tell them to go to reviews. So, other questions, guys? And I hope that helped you. I liked it much more when I could show you booking start to finish with putting a name in or showing you something different, but I can't, YouTube won't let me. So, all right, I am going to stop recording. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that helped you. You really have to figure out how to make it your own, but the main thing I'm going to stress is when you work with a client, speak to them on the phone. If you do not speak to them on the phone, you're not building a connection with them, and it's much easier for them to ghost you.